Hey folks, Leader here once again. Welcome back to another review. Hope you all enjoyed my review of Captain Marvel. Thank you for the 246 subs. Two more subs, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Keep on subscribing, keep on watching, and commenting, and feel free to share my channel anytime you want to. Yeah, on your Facebook page, your Facebook story, your Instagram, whatever, Twitter. If that you can do that, probably. I guess you don't really have a Twitter, but we appreciate any sharing or yeah. Always helps out to be supportive. But anyway, guys. Like I said, my channel's name is Levi McNally. That my name is just Levi. You can just call me Levi. And it's with a mass profile picture on it. I think I've been on YouTube for actually 12 years since let's see, 2013. I would say about 12 years. 12 years. I know I've been saying 11. Sorry, but yeah, 12 years I've been on YouTube. I started this channel in June though because I had to. My old channel lost the account, so I had to get a new account for the channel. And it was this one with the mass profile picture. So make sure to subscribe to this channel. You watch videos. It's well, my other channel. It's the Batman Mask with the Phantasm profile picture. You watch videos on that. Certain reviews you should watch on that, I recommend, but don't subscribe. Stay subscribed to this channel if you want to continue seeing me do more videos and reviews on here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review of Captain Marvel. As you guys know, well, if you've been watching, I've been doing a superhero marathon on my YouTube channel. I've been doing what I call the 2010s era of superhero reviews. These are superhero movies that came out, excuse me, in the 2010 decades, from 2010 to 2019. And I am now on the year 2019. I read Reign of the Superman about 2 years ago. That was the first movie. That was January. March was this. And I have a couple movies here in April. Let's see. It's this movie, about four movies in April. But this was the first one. This is this is a DC superhero movie. This is the seventh installment in the DCU, DC Extended Universe, along with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, I think it was Wonder Woman, and then Justice League, and then Aquaman, and now this movie. And that's directed by David F. Sandberg and starring Zachary Levi and Mark Strong, and that is Shazam. I just love this cover here. Yeah, Shazam. I saw this film in theaters back in 2019. Me and my dad did. And I remember being late, but I well, it's too bad though. The movie started. We were a little late, but sometimes it just happens. I like to be on time to movie theaters, but hey, sometimes you might run late by accident. Because I think we almost went to the wrong movie theater. But I got to eat some pretzels with cheese, and I'm not complaining. And it was an awesome experience. I love this movie. See that? That's Billy, his kid form. And when he says Shazam, this is who he turns into. So yeah, I love the stuff over here. I'm scratching it just is annoying, but I don't know why I do that. But Shazam is a very lighthearted movie. Probably my favorite film of the DCU. This movie is just so fun to watch. It's entertaining. Yeah, it's got some heart to it, and it's just a really good superhero film. I would say one of the best out there, in my opinion. Yeah, I love Shazam. I thought it was great. Anyway, so let's get into it. So for the direction of the film, New Line Cinema began development of a Shazam live-action feature film in the early 2000s, with multiple screenplays drafts by the William Goldman, the team of Alex Silverman and Joe Corman. It probably didn't happen. If it was like I'm talking about before Batman Begins, since Batman and Robin and Steel came out in 1997, and those films financially did not do well. Batman and Robin didn't make money overseas. And I like Batman and Robin, but Steel was terrible with Shaquille O'Neal. And it was a time where DC, their movies weren't doing well so much at the box office. But, but like I said, with multiple screenplay drafts by William Goldman, the team of Alex Sovic and Joel Coleman, Brian Colbert, and John August, sorry, the version of the Shazam script. Shazam, I think, was also from like a TV. They had like a 1970 show, which I've never seen. A show from the 70s, I think, which I've never seen. But I do believe the actor does make a cameo in the sequel. The version of Shazam. Oh, the script was written by August, which was in production in 2008, same year as The Dark Knight came out. It was an action comedy with focus on the origin story of the hero, then known by his origin name of Captain Marvel, and his younger alter ego Billy Batson. But thankfully, yeah, 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 that's Billy Batson, Shazam. He's by shouting the name Shazam, Billy is bestowed the powers of divine origin. So when he says Shazam, he'll turn into a man. He'll turn into this. He'll become Captain Marvel, or just Shazam. But I guess they couldn't call this movie Captain Marvel, they called it Shazam. So, because you had the same movie with Brie Larson that came out in March, this movie came out in April, people would have been confused. He's got strength, speed, agility, intelligence, knowledge, physical and magic, control over lightning and magic. Characters battle evil is in the form of rogue galleries. So most of them were in as the monsters of society, like Dr. Savannah, Black Adam, Mr. Mind. And he's got like his foster brother, Freddie Freeman. He's also a member of the Justice League. He introduced, the characters was first seen, and let's see, was it, I guess 1940, something like that. And he was created by Bill Parker and C. Beck, C. Beck. But I'm not going to spend the whole time reading about the character. If you read the comics, you know about the character. Or if you want to look on Wikipedia, you can read it on there too. I'm not going to do it in this entire video. I just want to focus on talking about the film. Peter Segal was attached as director. Dwayne Johnson was in talks to appear as the film's villain, Black Adam. That didn't happen, but Dwayne Johnson did get to play Black Adam, released in 2022. Oh, Peter Segal was one director. Okay. He directed, you should know him for directing Tommy Boy, which just turned 30. Anger Management, The Longest Shore, 51st Dates with Adam Sandler. I didn't care for Grudge Rush. I did like Get Smart, though. Yeah. Which he worked with Dwayne Johnson in that, I believe. Oh, I'm talking about like I think there was like a TV series, but I'm talking about the movie with Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway and late Alan Arkin. New Line Cinema was absorbed into Warner Brothers, a large film studio, also owned the time by Time Warner during the course of development. Following the success of The Dark Knight and the commercial failure of its lighter family-friendly Speed Racer, voted in the summer of 2008, August departed from the project, seeking pressure from the studio to make the screenplay darker and more serious. Which thankfully they don't go for that. You cannot make this character dark. You know. In August 2009, Bill Birch and Julia Frome's DC Comics were assigned to write the screenplay, was to go remain attached as director. In August 2010, the studio considered canceling the theatrical film in favor of a live-action series for primetime network television. In December 2013, Segal stated the film would not be happening. Similars between Captain Marvel and Superman had become an offset of the success launch of Man of Steel earlier that year, and Man of Steel was coming out that year. When the film was in development limbo, DC Comics rebooted the comic book franchise as part of the New 52 and relaunched in 2012. The other trademark comics were with Marvel Comics, who owned the trademark for Captain Marvel. For use of their character's same name, they renamed the character Captain Marvel superhero character name Shazam at this time when the New 52 started. DC had been required to market and promote the character using the trademark Shazam. Captain Marvel had originated as Frost in 1939, but fell into the limbo after 1953, a long legal battle with DC over Captain Marvel's similarity to Superman. In April 2014, Marvel revealed their upcoming slate of films based on DC Comics. Metal Man, Fables, 100 Bullets, The Shazam was potentially set for release in 2016. Dwayne Johnson stated he will be starring in Shazam, that it was undecided between portraying Shazam or Black Adam. Johnson was cast as Black Adam, and Daryl Lehman was set to write the script. Henry Grant was hired to rewrite Lehman's script in February 2017. David F. Sandberg was sent with the studio to direct Shazam. Dwayne Johnson was set to star in a Black Adam solo film, obviously appearing as the villain in Shazam. While Dr. Sonoma, another nemesis of Shazam, became the Shazam, the films he became the villain instead, played by Mark Strong. Sandberg was approached to direct Venom for Sony, but Sandberg finally decided to direct Shazam. Good on you, rather than do the former's crew. Several people Sandberg have worked with on New Line Cinema. I'm glad he didn't do Venom. This is a lot better than Venom, by the way. Yeah, from 2018. So thank God he went with this one. In July 2017, the studio began active development of Shazam. Sandberg was confirmed as director, with production to begin in early 2018. Dwayne Johnson relayed that the creative team was now involved when he first signed on. After being cast as lead, Zachary Levi stated in an interview that the idea is that it's going to feel like the movie Big, but with superpowers. When asked was about the direction DC Films and New Line Cinema are going for Shazam, and I think in an interview he said he's never heard of the character or don't know about the character, but I'm sure he read comics to learn. Warner Brothers stated that the film would be based on the 2012-2013 Shazam from the Justice League comic book by writer Jeff Jones and Gary Frank, which is a version of Shazam's version, a modernized version of Shazam's of the character's origin. Sorry, I can't barely speak. In August 2017, David F. Sandberg said that the film would be the next issue in the DC universe. By the end of the month, it had begun pre-production. By October 2017, cinematographer Maxim Alexander, production designer Jennifer Spence, previously worked with Sandberg on Annabelle creation, were added to the production. That next month, Aquaman stunt coordinator Kyle Gardner started working on the film's action sequences. On January 12, 2018, the film's release date was announced on April 19th, but later moved to April 5th. For casting Zachary Levi at the 2018 Comic Con, he was actually last year, 2024. Yeah, he was going to be at the Atlanta Comic Con. I wanted to meet him, but he canceled it. He got canceled at the He canceled it for some reason. I guess he's busy. But that would have been awesome to meet him. In August 2017, the casting process for Shazam and other characters had begun. Sandberg stated in an interview that instead of de-aging an actor using special effects, CGI, he would cast both a child actor and an adult actor for the role of the main character, which is fine. Zachary Levi, John Cena, which thank God that didn't happen. If John Cena was in this movie, I probably would have hated it, to be honest. Not a fan of him, but that's just me. By October 2017, Levi was cast in the title role. Funny, his last name is my first name. Sandberg chose Levi out of 100 actors, 13th edition, which was taped on his iPhone. Grace Fulton joined the cast as Mary, one of Billy's foster siblings. Fulton had worked with the same director on Annabelle. Later that month, Mark Stromberg was in negotiations to play Dr. Saban, the villain. Asher Angel was cast as the Tower Hero's teenager that was the 15-year-old Billy Batson. Jack Dylan Grazer was added as Freddy. Film began in Toronto and Hamilton, in Canada on January 29, 2018, under the working title Franklin, and wrapped in mid-2018. The film was set primarily in Philadelphia and is firmly established with the DCU. Most of the production was shot at Pinewood Toronto Studios, University Studios, Wide Plains Shopping Center. David December, two-time collaborator Michael Eller, served as the editor for Shazam. Mike Whistle, who worked on the special effects for Hellboy, original effects for Hellboy 2 The Going On in the Fast and Furious franchise. Kevin McClellan, who did it for Aquaman, they did visual effects. For the music of the movie, Benjamin Wallish was announced as the composer for Shazam. They do have, they throw some music in here too for the soundtrack of the movie. Yeah. Well, they did have, additional music like, do you hear what I hear? Like they throw some. This movie takes place around Christmas time, so you do have some Christmas song like, "Do You Hear What I Hear?" by Bing Crosby. I love that song. Outside, "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen. Yeah. And "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor, which was used in Rocky 4, Rocky 3. Sorry, but some good songs. Marketing. I do remember the trailer. At first, I did enjoy the trailers. First of all, I thought it was actually this movie was a joke. I thought it was a fan made trailer. I didn't think this was. I didn't take it seriously. I thought it was just a joke. Is this a real movie coming out, or are they just playing a joke? Yeah, I think there was like a commercial or something. I don't remember too many commercials, but they did have toys out for the characters and Shazam toys and stuff for the movie. I don't remember much marketing for the film, but for the cast, well, anyway, the film was released in the United States on April 5th, 2019. Got positive reviews from critics. Was a box office success. Made $367.8 million on a investment of 100 million dollars. Wow. They did have the sequel Shazam and Fear of the Gods and the spin-off Black Adam, but they both didn't do well. It's just a shame. I did enjoy Shazam Fear of the Gods, but I guess it was a time. 2020 is this decade. It does feel like people are maybe worn out by superhero movies or outstayed their welcome. Hmm. But for the cast, you have Zachary Levi and Asher Angel as Asher Angel. He plays Billy Batson, the 15-year-old teenager, and who plays Shazam is Zachary Levi. Let's say Zachary Levi. I think his first movie that I've seen him in was at Big Mama's House too. Yeah, I remember him in that, working with Martin Lawrence in that movie. Who, by the way, Martin Lawrence turned 60 today, so happy birthday, Martin Lawrence. Tangled, yeah, he voiced Flynn, I remember that movie, good Disney movie. Alvin and the Chipmunks, he's alright in that, he's good, but I don't really care for those Alvin and Chipmunk movies. Thor Ragnarok and Thor the Dark World and Thor Ragnarok. He plays Fandral. Yeah. So it's not his first super movie he's been in, but he was more of a supporting role in those movies. But in this movie, he's the lead. And of course, he did come back to play Shazam in Fury of the Gods. I really hope he plays Shazam King because my opinion, he is great. Just like Christopher Reeve is Superman, Michael Keaton is Batman. He is Shazam to me. So if James Gunn's going to continue with DC movies, please make another Shazam movie. I really wish they would do a third movie, but probably won't happen because the second movie didn't do too well. And Mark Strong is Dr. Thaddeus Severnue. Severnue. He's a scientist who's turned down as a potential champion, especially arranged from his family, who becomes a host for the Seven Deadly Sins. And which is Nemesis. I can't even speak. I'm sorry. Am I drunk? Asher Angel was the kid that plays it, and he does a great job. He's great as Billy Baskin, I think. And of course, he does come back for Shazam Fury of the Gods to play Billy again. Yeah. This really deserved a franchise, in my opinion. But Mark Strong, David Kolarz plays the 4-year-old Billy. But Mark Strong, if you want to talk about a superhero, Green Lantern from 2000, I like him as Sinestro, but they should have made him the villain in that movie. I'm glad they did in this movie. So anyway, maybe for some people he did get redeemed because he was great in here as the villain, in my opinion. And he would have made a great villain, in Green Lantern as Sinestro. I could definitely see it. Sherlock Holmes, where he worked with Robert Downey Jr., he played the villain in that. Lord Henry Blackwood. Kick-Ass, he was the villain. I mean, I liked him in that, but I hate that. I hate that movie, Kick-Ass. I do not care for it. And I like Green Lantern, sue me. I enjoyed that film. And Kingsman Secret Service and Kingsman the Golden Circle, he was good in that. Yeah. But he had a small cameo, though, in the second movie. Murder Mystery 2, he says he was in that. Haven't seen it. Sorry. If I sneeze, I'm going to just kind of get the camera. I don't want to sneeze on the camera. Ethan Buttle plays the young Thaddeus. Jack Dylan Grazer as Frederick Freddie Freeman, Billy's physical disabled foster brother, and a fan of superheroes. Adam Brody played, yeah, let's see, Jack Dylan. May have seen him in the movie, but he did come back for the sequel, of course. Oh, Batman and Superman Battle the Super Kents? Super Sons? I love that movie. That was in 2022 when that he voiced Superboy and Jonathan Kent in that movie, so that's awesome. Adam Brody, he looks so familiar. He was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Cop Out, which I didn't care for, Scream 4. Okay. I'm just trying to see. Okay, yeah, he was in Smallville. Yeah, the episode Crush. Okay, as Justin Gaines. Yeah, now I remember him in Smallville. Dimash Hosh as Shazam. The last ever I remember the Council of Wizards. He spent centuries summoning people into his temple, the Rock of Eternity, in search for a pure heart champion to whom he can pass on his extraordinary magic powers. He previously voiced King. Oh, okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, he did. Okay. I remember him in the movie Never Back Down. I like that movie. Never seen the sequels, but he was in Guardians of the Galaxy as well, and Captain Marvel, which I reviewed, and Aquaman as well. Furious 7, he was in that. Legend of Tarzan. And Faith Herman as Dorla Dudley, Billy's good sister. She was also responsible on Shazam Fury of the Gods. Making Good, let's see. House Party 4, never seen it. She was in Saw 5. Anchorman 2. The Intruder with Dennis Quaid. Didn't really care for that movie. It came out the same year as this. And I believe she did come back as the character in Shazam. Yeah, Shazam Fury of the Gods. Grace Fulton as Mary Bloomhart, Billy's mature, academically driven older foster sister. Grace Fulton. Oh, she's always been gorgeous. But she does come back in the sequel. The adult superhero form is Michelle Roth. Ian Shin as Eugene, Billy's younger foster brother, an obsessive gamer. Did come back in Shazam Fury of the Gods, and he was in the movie Dog's Journey. I remember him in that. Russ Butler plays the character's title adult superhero. But if you've seen The Dog's Journey, sequel to A Dog's Purpose that came out in 2017, the little girl that plays in that movie, she also played Cassie in Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not Ant-Man 3, but Russ Butler plays the character's adult superhero. He does come back in the sequel. Jerome Holm as Pedro, Billy's older foster brother, a shy, sensitive boy who had trouble opening up. DJ Corning plays the character's adult superhero form. Spy Kids Armageddon, G.I. Joe Retaliation, playing Flint, and Shazam Fury of the Gods. Martin Millis as Ross, the foster mother of them, Rosa, which is another beautiful lady in my opinion, but she comes back as the Shazam Fury of the Gods, of course. Cooper enters as Victor, the foster father of Billy and his siblings. He did come back for Shazam Fury of the Gods. It's really a shame that they didn't make a franchise out of this. He's done some voice work. He was in The Walking Dead. You might know him from that. The film also features John Glover as Thaddeus. Glover has starred in the DC animated, other DC comic series, and the films like Batman the Animated Series. Uh, of course, well, he did. He was in Scrooged. He was in RoboCop 2. Um, Batman and Robin. He played Dr. Jason Woodrow. You know, the one that tries to kill Pamela Isley and then gets the poison kiss from her. That's John Glover. And in Smallville, let's see, Superman the animated series, he voices Edward Nygma, aka the Riddler. So it was nice to see him in here. He voiced the Riddler, and then he was also in Smallville. He played Lionel Luthor, Lex Luthor, the younger version of Lex, though, his father in that show. And I don't think he's done a movie since. I guess maybe he retired or something. And I think he was also in Gremlins too. I do remember him in Scrooge with Bill Murray, and he was in some TV shows as well. Is this Superman the animated series? Let's see. Oh, okay, nighttime. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was a crossover with Batman and Superman. Natalie Silver was cast as Darth Thaddeus' mother. Her scenes were cut from the film, which is fine. They were the Cellar David says their names Pride, Envy, Greed, Lust, Wrath, Gluttony, and Sloth. They were shared by stunt doubles and motion capture suits, staying through and on screenshotting through CGI special effects. Steve Bloom plays one of them. Darren DePaul and Fred Trusk. I can't say the name right. I'm sorry, but that's your cast for the movie. The film is directed by David S. Sandberg, who directed Shazam Fury of the Gods, Annabelle Creation. Screenplays by Henry Gayden, who's worked for scripts for movies like, well, Earth to Echo and Shazam Fury of the Gods. The stories by him and Darren Lick, I can't say it. Not Darren Leck, it's not Limick, Darren Lemick. Credits include that he was credited with, wrote some other films with other writers like Shrek Forever After, Jack the Giant Slayer, Goosebumps 1 and 2, Gemini Man with Will Smith, which I heard wasn't very good, Kung Fu Panda 4, characters from DC produced by Peter Sabrin, He's produced films like Rocket Man, Meet the Spartans, Disaster Movie, awful film. He did produce the sequel, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, The Suicide Squad, and Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. Yeah. Soundtracks by Maximum Alexandria. High Tension, The Defender, The Hills Have Eyes from 2006. The first thing, Crawl, which came out the same year as this. Never Let Go. Music is by Benjamin Walshes. I can't say this guy's name right. I'm sorry. He did include like not just this movie, but Blade Runner 2049, The Invisible Man, The Flash. Um, he has some 23 Twisters, the sequel to Twisters, Alien Romulus, and Craven the Hunter. Craven the Hunter, which is another superhero movie. Production companies New Line Cinema, DC Films, Seven Company, $7. Productions, distributed by Warner Brothers. It was released April 5th, 2019 here in the US. It's 132 minutes long. And the running time is 2 hours, 12 minutes long, but it doesn't feel like it. The budget is 90, estimated to be 90, $100 million. I believe it's $100 million. But the box office made $367.8 million worldwide. And it did, like I said, it did get the sequel in 2023 and the spinoff before that, Black Adam starring. Yeah. But the sequel did not do too well at the box office. Yeah. Didn't make as much money as the first one. But it got several delays, though. I think Black Adam probably did too, because after the year 2019, we got COVID that happened. Yeah. But for the story of the movie, so if you've never seen the movie Shazam, starring Zachary Levi, if you've never seen it, turn this video off right now. There are going to be spoilers in this review. Right now, I'm just going to mention the plot synopsis, what the film is about, the story, just give you the plot synopsis of it. So if you've never seen Shazam, please turn the video off. Go watch the movie whenever you get time, and don't watch this review because you don't want to spoil it for yourself, do you? And there will be spoilers there. So anyway, the story of Shazam is that we all have superheroes inside of us. It just takes out a bit of magic to bring it out. That is in 14-year-old Billy Batson, who is a boy that lost his mom when he was like 4 years old, and he's an orphan, and he bounces from foster home to foster home, and he tries to track down his mom. He all he needs to do is shout out one word. He gets to meet this wizard who needs to find someone pure of heart. And when he says the word Shazam, this is who he turns into, Zachary Levi, giving him powers as well. Turns him to this adult superhero Shazam. He's still a kid at heart though. But Shazam relives in the new version. I'm sorry. Doing what, Shazam reveals the new version of himself by doing what any other team would do. He has fun while testing out his newfound powers, tests out his powers, but he'll need to master them quickly before the evil Dr. Thaddeus Savan, played by Mark Strong, who wants his power and is obsessed with having his power. He's obsessed with he gets the revenge. You know, so he gets his hands on Shazam's. He wants to get his hands on Shazam's magical abilities and probably take over the city, take over the world with all these powers. Meanwhile, while his foster siblings, they must team up and help them, and they become heroes too. And so what they do is they must, along with Shazam, along with Billy, they have to take on Dr. Savannah and stop him and take him down once and for all, for he does get his hands on Billy's powers and can do a lot of damage, basically take over the world, and all these seven deadly sins with him can do a lot of evil in the world. So they must team up and they must stop Dr. Savannah and the seven deadly sins. And now, what I thought of Shazam is, like I said, I love this movie. Great film. Is it completely perfect? No, but I'm gonna say it is. It's hilarious. It's very entertaining. It had a good story. You know, I've seen the sequel. The sequel solid too. You know. All right, now I'm gonna talk about the movie itself. Now, that was a plot synopsis. So Sorry, that was the plot synopsis of the film I gave you. So I'm going to now talk about the entire movie. So again, if you have not seen this movie, and always make sure to click the bell, by the way. If you're subscribed, and click on the bell. There's a bell you can click. It says get all personalized. It's also not just on the video or description box. On the, Could be left or right, but it's also on my channel. When you subscribe to me, you can click all personalized. That way you'll know when I upload a video or something like that. Okay, guys, or if I do a post. I should be telling you guys I will be getting the job back at FedEx soon. I need it, guys. I need a warehouse job, and I'll be working quite a bit. But I'll do videos on my days off. I'll try to do that more if I can. But for now, I'll just worry about that later. Anyway, so if you haven't seen Shazam, if you've never seen this film, please turn the video off. There are spoilers, and I'll say that in the description box below. Always read the description box below, you know, if you want to. I'm just recommending it. There's spoilers. That's why I warn you guys about these 3 or 4 times to warn you. So you've been warned out. Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk about the movie itself, then I'll read some quotes and give you my final opinion, and that'll be it. So we're in 31 minutes. Okay, I'll get started. So the movie opens up in winter 1974. You do like that Christmas song going on. You have in New York, upstate New York, you have Thaddeus Savannah in the car with his older brother and his father. He plays with his magic 8 ball. And his brother, they just stop playing. His brother picks on him. And John Glover, again, he could play a dickheaded father or a father that can give his son the reason to be evil. I mean, he could play a bastard father, and he really does that well. John Glover. They says stop talking Thaddeus, and they treat Thaddeus really mean. They're really mean to him. They treat him. You feel bad with this boy. It's like wow, his father and brother are dicks to him, and his brother like makes fun of him, takes it away. Takes the ball away. He says, is Thaddeus a loser?" And then, "Oh yeah, you are." And then his dad laughs about it. I'm like, wow, what a douchebag for a father. He tries to take it back from his brother. They're like, "Do not cause a wreck, you stupid boy." He gets transported to this strange cave. He's like, "Dad, brother," he's like, yeah, doesn't see them. And then, you see the clocks changing, like the magic, and he's transported to the wizard, and the wizard tells him that he's a wizard of magic, and he says, "I'm looking for someone with pure heart to take over my powers. As I am the last of the seven wizards. I'm the last one." He introduces him to the daily sins, but like first, I have to test your heart. That is the seven daily sins. That is lust, sloth, pride, wrath, gluttony, and envy. Gluttony, greed, and envy. But he tells him he's been looking for someone pure of heart and strong in spirit, upon whom to grant his magic and name as his champion. But he says, but first you have to go through the test. So he meets the seven deadly sins. They say, he's lying. We can give you great power. And Thaddeus comes close to touching it, and Witter's like, no, you are not pure of heart. Yeah. And it sends him back to a car from which he's transported. And he's fussing. He's like, no, what's wrong with you? He's like, what's wrong with you, Thaddeus? Calm down, Thaddeus. What's wrong? Didn't give it to him because Thaddeus is not pure of heart. He has this evil in his heart, and that's why he's not going to give it to him because the seven deadly sins will take over that. They'll manipulate him and probably could with their magic, with their ability, their dark magic, it will take over the world. And they just need somebody like Thaddeus to do that. But Thaddeus gets mad, and they nearly wreck, and he's like, "You stupid little boy." But they get hit by a car. He has this other Christmas song playing, and John Glover falls out of the car. He didn't die, but he ends up being paralyzed for the rest of his life. Ends up in a wheelchair. Within the magic ball, it reads, he sees the magic ball, and it says, "Find us." Sent by the sins. And then you have many years later to the decade now, where we're in the year 2019. You meet Billy Batson. He was at a carnival with his mother. She was just playing like darts at the fair. The games where you can win like toys or stuffed animals. She's like, okay, honey, all we need that. But he's holding her hand, and then Les goes like, mom, mom, and then the cops take him in. You know, she gives him this little toy that's like a compass. They place him in a foster home, and now in Philadelphia, he's a 14-year-old kid. He lures some police officers to a pawn shop by tricking them to say, "There's somebody in there," and he closes them in with a gate. But he wants to search for information regarding his mother, so he's looking up all these addresses he's got in his his big his notebook. Yeah, but it's Rachel Basson. However, though, it's a different person. Before the police arrive to take him in, so flatly he's like, "Honey, I don't think so. I think I'm not your mother." Then the cops show up. The social worker introduces him to the Vegas family that is uh I'm forgetting their names now. But the Fergies that is I forget their names. Maria and Vic, yeah, Cooper Andrews and the lady, yeah. But he's like, you go with them or you can go to jail. Another foster home was like, this is your last chance, Billy. He's like, well, I can survive a moment. He's like, when you're 18. So for now, you're 14 years old. You gotta go. Yeah. And he meets the rest of them. That is Eugene, Darla, Pedro, Mary, and Freddie. Darla, this little girl that hugs on him. She's a sweet little girl. He's like, okay, you don't have to hug me so much. He's like, no, that's y'all first. He meets Pedro, and the foster parents, the Vegas, is telling him, we were foster kids too. But he meets Freddie, who is disabled, just walks on grass because of his legs. And he jokes with him a couple of times. He messes with him. He's like, dude, trust me, it gets dark around here. Foster father, he can beat you up or something like that. He says something like that. It's like, what? It's like, dude, I'm just kidding. And then he tells him another joke. He's a very wise ass kid. But then you have Savannah Industries, a doctor who's got about the wizard's lair. Apparently, Thaddeus grows up to be more strong, and he's been searching for probably 30, or say, probably some 30 something years around, I would say, just to be searching for it. These other people have seen the wizard as well, but either they were too scared or they weren't prepared for it like he was, and he's obsessed with finding it. Yeah, and he hires this doctor, and she's like, he comes into an interview. He's like, "Were there symbols around there?" She's like, "Excuse me, doctor, I don't need you to interrupt me." He's like, and she goes into his office. Eventually, he's able to figure out this magic, the symbols, which opens the door. And this lady's like, "You think this stuff is actually real?" She touches the door, you know, and the lady disintegrates. She just dies right in front of his eyes. You know, she becomes like that, and dies. So he's like, "Yes, I do," and he walks in there, and he enters this door, and he tells him, "You know what feels like a child until you're not worthy. You know what that's like? What you did to me." And he's like, "No," when he grabs the energy ball, he resolves them to his right eye, and now glows, and his eye glows blue. But the deadly sins tell him that you got to defeat the champion first. But he sets up for revenge first. Billy gets shown around the school. They go to school for the day. It's not like that though when little girl hugs him and he's like, okay, we're not really brother and sister. You don't have to hug me. He's like, I didn't mean to hurt her feelings. But yeah, they show him around the school a little bit. He shows him some of the, he's big into superheroes as well. He's got a kryptonite bullet that Superman was shot with, or a bullet that probably either by Deadshot, I think, or well, get for the guy's name for now. In the Suicide Squad, played by Idris Elba. Bloodsport, okay, but I think it might have been Bloodsports. Yeah. Billy shows that he's like, look, we're not brothers. We don't get along. You're just annoying me, so get away from me. But then at the end, you have these two teenagers that hit Freddy with their car, run him over, and say, "We're gonna see you for that." And he gets smart with them. He's like, "I can just see you guys," and gives them the finger. They beat him up. Says, "You weak little kid." At first, Billy's just gonna walk away. Then he sees what's wrong, what's happening, and he hits these guys, and they start chasing him in the subway. I like it when he slides down the escalator, gets into the train, like, "We know where you are, kid." They're like, "We know where you go to school, kid. We're gonna get you." And he enters the Rock of Eternity. Well, the train, people disappear. He's like, "Hello, hello," and then he meets the wizard. He meets the wizard, tells him who he is. The wizard explains to him about the seven deadly sins, the throne, and becoming the champion. He's like, "You are pure of heart, Billy Batson." In this episode later, but he tells him, he's like, "Say my name. Are you kidding?" No. He's like, "Okay." And he says, "Shazam," and then he becomes Zachary Levi. Yeah. He's the last remaining seven wizards and had previously given his powers to another champion, but that champion, however, used the powers of revenge, killing numerous people and releasing the sins into the world. The wizard vowed since to never pass on his power until he found someone who possessed a pure heart, and he chose Billy. He returns, he's just running. Oh, people are like, some guy left him like, "Ah, ha, ha, dude, look at you," and Billy just runs out of there. He can't walk into the home in this adult form. He would scare the foster parents and the foster children. So since Freddy knows about it, he's like, "Don't scream." He's like, "Victor, Victor," he's like, "I just miss Billy. It's okay." He hugs him. He's like, "Billy, is that you?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, it's me, dude. I don't know how I became like this. I just became like this." And the scene where he like touches the chest, you know, for the electricity. He's like, and I like him. He said, "Dude, I can't even pee in this thing." Mm. They also began testing his powers as well. He had that song, "Don't Stop Trying Me," "Don't Stop Me Now," or even Shazam dances as well, or he punches a wall. Super strength. He'll write it down. Super strength. Like electric powers. Even tries to put Billy in a box to set him on fire, but that doesn't work. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." It's just fun, entertaining, and they're laughing. And Billy's also charging people's phones. One guy's phone is like, "Thanks," or you know, they're walking at night, and Billy's also saves this lady. This guy's about to attack her, but he's like super speed, like knocks the guy out. And the girl's there, she's like, "I just pepper sprayed him," even though she didn't really need it. And he pushes him, and the lady gets scared. She gives him like $73. Like, the man was, "Lady, no, please, lady, yeah, close to my age, I'm not gonna hurt you." You know, they go to get beer because he's an adult now. He's like, I like your finest beer." And the lady's like, "Gonna grab the beer." These cops, not these cops, you're always gonna, they, tells him to stop, and they shoot at him, but he's like, "Shoot again." And they pow, 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 shoot at him. It's not working. Shoot him in the face, like, that tickles. Then knocks these guys out. He's like, they try to drink the beer. He's like, "Sorry about the mess, but thank you for saving your life for being robbed. Thank you. I mean, well, you can thank me for that. You're welcome. You're welcome for not being robbed." And they drink a beer, spit it out, and then just go eat candy and stuff and chips to eat. Yeah. But then you have, they have to sneak into, after all that though. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, my reviews. I'm sorry. But they go back to the home. Darla knows. Darla, "It's me, Billy. It's okay. Calm down." And he says, "I said this word, Shazam," and then he turns back and when he says Shazam, like I said, when he's like even like this, when he says Shazam again, he turns back into Billy like this. The lightning will strike him. He'll turn back to Billy, and they just go to bed for the night. Yeah. But then you have Savannah bars into a board meeting hosted by his brother and father. And like I said, his father's handicapped. His brother's like, he's like, "Get out of here, Norm. Get out of here, Daddy. Don't make me push you." He's like, "I'd like to see you try it." Tell that to them, and he picks up his brother, throws his brothers out the window. He kills them. And then his father's threatened. He gets all the demons out, the seven deadly sins out, and they attack these people. They kill them, and he gets revenge on his father, saying that he'll be taking his company. He's like, "What do you want? The company? The company?" And he's like, he sends the one of the monsters on the to eat his dad up. Basically, just chomps down on the dad, starts killing him. You know, he's like, "I'm the champion." He's like, then they tell him about Shazam, about Billy. We doesn't know that yet, but like, you got to find the defeat the champion. You become the new champion. You must defeat him first. Who yet doesn't know his true purpose yet, his true destiny yet. And so now, after killing his father and brother, getting revenge on the company, he sets out to kill Billy. But they also post videos of it on YouTube. It goes viral. Freddie and Bill are in school. Well, to do that, at first, to do this, Billy, I suppose, using Shazam was like, "It's my son." Yes, thank you, moron. My name's not Morris, Maureen, or something like that. And that was hilarious. So they go test the powers out, like they said before, like having fun, like trying to fly. He can't really fly, not just yet. A punching a barrel. They test that fire, flight, and strength, which is a fun scene. Or when he's using electricity, you know. And of course, Billy, being a kid, is not really responsible. With great power comes great responsibility. This ain't Spider Man, but again, being a 15-year-old kid, if you were a 14-year-old and you had these powers, you'd play around, of course. You'd mess around, and that's what he does at first. They attempt to purchase a layer for themselves, a super layer from Earth Agent, and they also end up going to a strip club. Billy does. And they need more money. They go to an ATM, zapping it. They zap the ATM, all money comes out of it. Don't we wish we could just do that? They buy video games. Wouldn't that be nice if money just came running out? They call him the Red Cyclone. The bullies tease him again, but Freddy says that he knows them, that he knows the Red Cyclone. He's a friend. He's like, yeah, right. If you're lying, we're gonna beat the crap out of you, give you a wedgie. Freddy and Billy argue with her. He's like, come on, Freddy, I need you. He's like, I need to find my mom, or something like that. But he doesn't want to help him out. You know, Victor asks them what they think of the new hero. You know, and Pedro's like, well, the costume sucks, or something like that. And Darla knows, but Darla's keeping it quiet. He's like, well, I think he's trying to be a good hero. Well, I think the hero should be. So it gets intense between them two, talking about, you talk about his old ego, which the family does not know about. It just leaves them confused. And Billy does become a bit of a jerk. Instead, wants to use his power just to get money and be a show off. Doesn't even help be there for Freddy, and the police see him and they give him a wedgie. There's also a scene there where he goes to the bathroom. I forgot to mention, but he goes to the bathroom because he can't pee in the suit. He has to say Shazam and scares the guy, and the guy runs out of the bathroom real fast, and then he has to say Shazam again to turn to his form. Yeah, he shows off. He's like lightning in my hands, lightning in my hands, and he's like, kid I've never seen before. He's like, you never been there? You're being a jerk and all that stuff, being a show off. But playing around with these powers can be dangerous because eventually he hits the wheel of a bus, a tire of a bus. When he's scuba dive, he can't catch them. He tries to get a mattress. One guy's like out the window, almost flying out the window. He's like, no. Eventually the bus falls, but he catches it with his hands, with the super strength. And he's like, dog, move. Dog's like, and he's like, doggy, move, please, move. The dog does move. He puts it down. It's like, wow, Billy, you save these people, yeah, but you've been a jerk and show off, yeah, you nearly kill these people. Can't believe you do that. It's like, well, you know what, kid? Whatever, I don't need you. I don't need anyone. He feels like the need that he needs to show off and make money. Maybe enough to go find his mom or be on his own since he has these powers now. Use it for selfish reasons, basically. He also then sees Mary probably before hit by a car. She nearly gets hit by a car, but he jumps in to save her. And she considers this foster family her family. And he's like, why don't you go? You do plenty of things for her, but I don't want to leave my family, so I'm just not so sure about it. He also knows her name, which is unusual. So, hey, know my name. It's my superpower. I can mind reading all that stuff. Our power's fading away when I forget stuff. Eventually, after his argument with Billy, I mean, after his argument with Freddy, Dr. Zavana shows up. Finally, Dr. Zavana shows up. So Campan, you're just a child, and first of all, he punches him real hard. He's like, oh, that hurt. Even where his nose bleeds. Billy's able to hit him back, but him and Savannah fight. Savannah comes pretty close to killing him. And he's able to kind of start flying. And he throws him up in the mall. He's like, Batman, get him. I am Batman. He throws the Batman. I thought was funny. Then you have Santa Claus. Because around this movie takes place around Christmas time. Santa Claus saying, kid, hey, who do you miss us called you after Christmas? It's like, well, you just know I'll always be here for you. And what was funny though is Shazam and Surrender, they come like out of the side or whatever. They like crash where Santa Claus is, and Santa Claus is like, oh, get me the hell out of here, and he runs. But knowing he can't take him on, knows that Surrender was killing him, he says Shazam and turns back into his natural form, Billy. Freddy travels to the mall. Savannah takes notice and sees the whole thing them on TV together. So the superhero cliche of what do villains do? They'll go for your loved ones, to get your attention. And that's what he plans to do. So he grabs Savannah and so he tries to trick him, but it doesn't work. Savannah's not buying it. Finds out that his name is Billy. Billy goes to the foster home, but Maria, I guess her name, Victor, the Vegas foster parents yell at him and say, "Where you been at? You've been lazy. You've been not lazy, but they get on him for cutting school. For you've been missing. You can't do this no more." But eventually they're listening, but they're able to find out. They're seeing the hero on TV. Maria, Mary's like, "Well, he knew my name." Now, like Billy is that hero, and he's like, "Well, I'm not the hero anymore." He's like, "I just want to go find my mother." And Eugene, the kid that knows about all the tech stuff, Eugene knows about it, and Eugene tells him, this is where your mother lives at. She's only two subway stops away from them. So Billy rushes out of the house. Frost parents try to chase him, but he runs. But then, so they try to go find Billy. I guess the kid's name here that is Billy, Mary, Pedro, Eugene, Darla, and Freddie. Okay, yeah, and they're good kids in the movie. I really like the characters. You know, they anyway. He runs to go find his mom. Savannah shows up though, threatening to kill the kid. Well, not threatening to kill him. Was like, "We'll keep you hot, keeps them hostage." Billy then arrives at his mother's apartment, but we thought that she was a sweet lady, but no, she was like 17-year-old when she had him. She was 17, so she was very young and very insecure, not mature enough to have him. But when you hear this man, is that dad? Like, no, that's not dad. And it seems like she's in an abusive relationship. She could be possibly a jury out of this movie, but you can definitely tell his mom has a messed up life. You know, she informs him that day she purposely left him. She purposely did it though, because she thought that other people would take better care of him. and that she never would. He gives her the compass and maybe shakes her hand, but she doesn't want to hug him at first. And realizing his mom didn't want him in the first place, realizing that he's gonna go back to his real family, and that you know, that this is his family. Then he gets a call from Savannah. Hey Billy, come save your family. And like when Billy just runs on top of the building and runs and says Shazam, and then he gives a fly. Savannah's like, come in here, Billy. I'm gonna kill him if you don't. And he wants him to give up his powers. Savannah opens up a magical door to the Rock of Eternity, picking up the staff. He unleashes the Sailor Davises who surround Billy and is about to give up his powers. But they all run into the lair. They are able to escape Savannah because nobody like hit him or whatever. They try to escape. They go into the wrong doors. Pedro almost goes in the door with a plant, almost eats him. And Darla almost goes into a door with dinosaurs, and they're opening these doors where they're being attacked. So they find a door to a fair. Freddy throws a batarang at Savannah's head. Throws a kick that believes that he is immortal. That the ones that give him his powers are the evil seven deadly sins give him his powers. Because when he hits them with the batarang, you see that blood. But then when they go into him, so they figure if they can get the seven deadly sins out of him, all of them, he'll go back to just being a normal guy. But like I said, they run from him. They go to the fair. These people are like, yeah, because again he becomes very popular because they see YouTube and TV, become famous. So Billy says Shazam, and turns back into his kid form because he doesn't want to get these people hurt, and he's drawing too much attention to himself. He does fling him across the room before they leave, by the way, but Toronto quickly follows. Yeah, he's like champion. These people are gonna get hurt if you don't come back to me, Billy. He doesn't know what he looks like when he's back to being a kid. But Billy and the kids are watching. They're trying to hide, and these people don't get hurt. Then we see Santa Claus again, and Santa's like, "Run the hell out of here!" And they all try to run out. And I thought that was hilarious. Santa just cracked me up in here. And then you have the bullies that are on this Ferris wheel. Eventually, he's able to go back to the form. He's like, "I'm the hero now," and he takes the responsibility of being a hero. And he says, "Shazam!" And he does that walk and turns to his power. And first, he's able to like stop someone from punching him. And they're fighting through the city. Well, before that though, he tries to, he's like, "I got your family. I'm gonna kill them." Then the black guy says like, stop it, And before he can do that though, and he remembers what the wizard said to him. This inspires him, and it's not out Savannah. So Sarvan just hit him and says, "Say my name, Billy." No, Shazam, and then they become, yeah. That way, Pedro, Darla, Eugene, Mary, and Freddy, they become the superheroes behind Billy, which is an awesome moment. They attack they protect people. Darla Cooper on, she sees Santa Claus. "Oh, my name is Darla, by the way." And Santa's like, "What?" You know. But they save people. She saves a woman from falling to her death. Freddy saves the teenagers. He's like, "Oh, do you enjoy your wedgies?" And they fight the bad guys when they're flying in the air. Billy's flying. Pretty cool fight. As he's chasing Shazam when he's flying, Champion when he's flying, whatever you want to call him. Anyway, he's flying, and Savannah's like, "Boy, I will kill your family. I will not your help. I will do this and that." And he's like a mile away from him in the sky, and Billy can't hear. He's like, "What? I can't hear you. Are you like bad guy monologuing right now? Really?" And then they start to fight again as they start for each other, and the rest of them are fighting off the deadly sins. Pedro gets knocked away though. Pedro's trying to catch it. He's like a real fat boy keeper. When he turns to his form, he's like really strong. He's like, "Check out these guns." And I forgot to mention though, for them to get away from Savannah. Billy thinks about a place. First of all, it was the subway. They go to the strip club. I was like, really? That was your first thought? Yeah, of course. Sorry. And uh, that's when the first like, oh, I drove my time in there. And it's like, darling, you can't look in that because you're too young. And Billy's like, wow, you got all these seven deadly sins, greed, all these sins, but lust. Lust was, I was expecting to be really hot, but not really. He's like, but what about envy? Don't you envy it? And this, you see the look of envy, and eventually it tricks envy enough to to jump out of his eye. There was a scene where before they had the powers, where with like a BB gun, Mary was gonna shoot his eye out, but that didn't happen as he's about to drown Billy. Billy says Shazam. And anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going over my review. And Billy yells Shazam, hurting it real bad. He drags him onto the carnival, rips the magic eye. I'm sorry, I just rips the eye out, knocks him out, and imprisons the sins within the magic ball that he got. You know, saves the day. The Shazam family are the cheers of the crowd, and people, yeah, woo, they're shouting. Yeah, they said, "This is our lair. The Rock of Eternity is our lair." And he grabs the staff. They sit down, and Billy accepts his future as this hero now, but still a kid at heart though. They go back to the foster home. Everyone returns to their original home, and they do this hands together, folks. Like Billy doesn't do it first, but Billy does it. This first one do it. All hands in. Thank you for this family. And Santa Claus is on TV saying, "This was crazy to hear all these fucking effing bleeping beef." That was hilarious. And Billy feels like he's an accepting family. Then school first sits down at lunch. Someone's coming next to him. They bullies tease him, but eventually Billy comes to Shazam's like, he's like, "Hey friends, yeah, hey kids I've never seen like for the first time." And then you see Superman, and then Freddy is stunned. Yeah, I wish Henry Cavill would have made a cameo, but I guess maybe he was too busy. But we just see Superman, and that's it. Just the suit. And then the movie ends there. Mid credit scene, you have Savannah. He's in prison. He talks to the Roscoe potentially. He's interrupted by Mr. Man, who tells him with the pillars that evils that come together in the seven realms of magic will be under their control. So he's offering more power and taking over the world. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm in." And Billy is show trying to talk to fish like Aquaman. If Billy's wearing an Aquaman shirt, like, "Come on, dude, that's cool. Talk to fish." He's like, "What doesn't work? I don't talk to fish." And then the movie ends there. So that's Shazam. Let me read some quotes real quick. Families are for people who can't take care of themselves. Shazam saves Mary from being hit. Oh, sorry. Dad, I said not toys at grandfather's, but it's Christmas. Say my name. My powers become yours. What's your name? Enough games, boy. You think your pack of children can. Wait, what? You will beg for mercy as I feast on your heart slow. Are you making some like big evil guy speech right now or something? You're like a mile away from me right now. There's a cars and trucks. I will have the world eating out of the palm of all my hand. All I see is mouths moving. I don't hear any. Only have the power to unleash whatever. Screw it. Flight or visibility. You could have one superpower, flight or invisibility. What would it be? Everybody chooses fight, flight. You know why? So they can fly away from this conversation. No, because heroes fly. Who doesn't want to people think they're a hero? Invisibility, no way. That's pervery. Flying around on people who don't even know you're there. Sneaking around right there. It's a total villain power, right? Yeah. If you've seen Hollow Man. Gentlemen, why you use guns when we can handle this like men? Really look out. Bullet immunity. You have bullet immunity. I'm bulletproof. Today is December 8th, and this video proof. Shoot me again. Oh, hey, yeah. Here, go, both of you. Go home. Come on, go down. Wait. We still don't know if the suit's bulletproof or not. Shoot him in the face. Shoot me in the face. In the face. It kind of tickles. You're dead. Sorry about your window. Have a good night. But you're welcome for not getting robbed. Say my name. Billy. No, my name. The name I said the chance from this guy. Shazam. Fight or visibility. Why are you covering my eyes? I like it when he tells Charlie though, when he's like, because that's what big brothers do. They protect the little sisters. This really is the first place you think of, well, why can't I see what's inside? You are not old enough to know what this great music is. You know, hey, covering your mouth like you're gonna kidnap her is not gonna help you less scared. Okay, Darla, it's me, it's Billy. I know I don't like me. Wizard made me like this. Maybe you don't start with the wizard. It's just gonna make her more confused. Some old guy brought me to the temple and made me say Shazam. Probably triggered body manipulation properties. You can switch by saying Shazam. All right. Well, I feel like every criminal is either on drugs or asleep by now. Want to head home looking like this? Well, yeah. Usually we'd go to later back too, but the church long term right now we have a bunk bed. They seem nice, but don't buy it. Gets real Game of Thrones around here. They seem nice, but don't buy it. Gets real Game of Thrones around here. And Billy becomes nervous, like, dude, just messing around. You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're just a foster kid. You got it all. Hands lightning with my hands. Lightning with my hands. I can't talk to fish, even though I could. But anyway, I think that's all the dialogue. So some fun dialogue in the movie. A lot of it is fast talking with dialogue, but it's a lot of humor thrown in there as well. So let me get my final opinion on Shazam. Might do another review today too. And starting with this one. So anyway, my thoughts on my final opinion on Shazam. I love this movie. I do think feel it's a bit underrated. I don't know how people feel about this movie. This is probably my favorite film of the DCU so far. It's my favorite, and I love the sequel too. The sequel is underrated. I like the cast. Rachel Wagner, not the new Snow White. Don't care for her too much. She's all right in that movie. But the rest of the cast members, like I love Lucy Liu, you know, and I like the sequel too. Of course, the sequel is going to be different. I do like that we get more of the wizard in the sequel as well. That gave him his powers, which is nice. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the first movie first. And I love this movie. I thought the story was good. You know, Shazam has always been a cool character. I think it's cool that he's a kid that he says the word Shazam. His magic abilities are cool. I like the suit. The suit's cool. Zachary Levi is like a kid at heart in this movie. It's like he's just perfect for the role. You know, kind of reminds me of Rob Williams, as Peter Pan and Hook a little bit, you know, a little bit. But because he jokes around too, a little bit. But still reminds me of that a little bit. Still, I love this movie. I loved his performance as Shazam. The story was really good. I do feel sorry for Billy being 4 years old, losing his mother, and that his mother abandoned him. But then realizing that the betray, that this is his family of kids, and you buy them as a family, and then when they become heroes, you do see more of it in the sequel as they're fighting and saving people, but they got a bigger threat to deal with after Dr. Savannah, of course. But the actress who plays Mary's counterpart, and she doesn't do it in the sequel. But despite that, I like these kids. They're real good. There's a lot of stuff that just makes me laugh, especially like with Santa Claus yelling and stuff. It was hilarious. It's humor. It's a very if you hated Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, how dark those were. I like Man of Steel because it was different, but it did have some humor in it though. But I wish they would have lightened Superman up. Superman should have been like this, and Batman v Superman done justice. I like Man of Steel. I don't mind it being a bit dramatic, you know, because Superman is not a child, you know, and yeah, you still make him lighthearted. But Superman is not very jokey, but they could have done that with him. They did it with him in Justice League, but Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, that film was too depressing, and Suicide Squad was just awful, you know. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman are good as well. But I would say I like this more. I think this film definitely has a better villain. Well, I do like the villains in Aquaman. Black Manta I thought was underused, and the villain at the end of Wonder Woman sucked. But this had a better climax than Wonder Woman and then Aquaman, in my opinion, because it was very entertaining. Yeah, this is my favorite film of the DCU. Yeah, I'll admit it, I like the sequel too. My favorite film so far. If James Gunn, if you make another movie, a Shazam movie, please have Zachary Levi and Ash. You gotta have this cast come back. Come on, they should do a third movie. It's a shame this film didn't do too well. I don't think it was a huge flop, but nowadays, oh, it's a flop. It flopped, sadly, which it didn't deserve. You know, if I could change one thing about it, one actress I could take out, I would. But despite that, the plot's good. Uh, The story's really good. The directing and writing is really good. It's a very lighthearted film. It feels like a family film with a good heart to it. And you feel sorry for Billy that he doesn't want to be part of this family, that he wants to be on his own. doesn't want nothing to do with him. But over the course of the film, learning of what his mother does, which is really wrong, and but then having a family, yeah. Even if one person doesn't accept you, you can be with some people that could still be a better family for you. And Billy discovers that in them, caring enough to save them. And yeah, he plays around with his powers at first, but at the end he becomes a hero. Yeah, but he does like Deadpool have a sense of humor, but not like a rated R version of Deadpool. Not like he's gutting people up. I mean, it does get pretty dark with the Seven Deadly Sins. That was probably creep. If your kids watch this movie though, they're probably scared of them. But don't worry, it's not like bloody and gory stuff. You know, cinematography is nice. The film, the visual effects is beautiful in this movie. Shazam uses his powers. Like I said, the suit looks real cool. The visual effects are some of the best I've ever seen in a superhero movie. Mark Strong does a great job as the villain. Like they should have made him the villain in Green Lantern, even though I like that film. I think that film has good special effects. I know people don't like the Green Lantern suit, but I liked it. Could have been better, but Shazam does look better in his suit though. The editing is good. The action, well, some of the editing was a little choppy and stuff. I get it though. When you have people, that just run and Shazam, Billy, who are, superpowers, kind of like Superman, but with their magic, they're gonna move really fast. You know, music score was good, but I love the songs they had in here. Some Christmas songs. It's Christmas. When Billy turns back into his form for the first time, or turning into the Shazam, so back into his form, Victor gets mad because the light bulb goes off. He's like, "Holy shit!" But the running time is about 113 minutes, 2 hours, 12 minutes. It didn't feel like it. It felt like 2 hours to me. It felt like it went by a really good pace. The villain is good. The cast is really good. I love the cast in here. All these cast members do really good. So they brought them back for the sequel. Girl is a very cute little girl. Yeah, very good cast. Very lighthearted, heartwarming movie. Almost feels like a Christmas movie too. It's still a superhero film though, but I like the Christmas feel to it. It's a great movie. That's what DC needs to do: make these kind of movies with good stories and characters we care about, with good dialogue, and it's very entertaining. It's a fun movie. Now issues, can't really think of it. I can't really think of any issues I have. Maybe I wish John Glover had more screen time, but I get it. He's played Leon Luthor. I guess maybe they killed him off quickly because we don't. I mean, his if they would have kept him a bit longer in this movie, it would have reminded me of Lionel Luthor. So, but that's all right. I mean, and he's played the Riddler too, so we've seen him enough in those in Smallville. So if you want to see him play more of a villain or an evil dad, if you didn't get enough of that in this movie, you'll get it in Smallville. Yeah, and it's entertaining. Yeah, but the only things I didn't like was the mother, but she did, and the father. But I get it; she had her reasons for it. But despite that, I can't think of any too much negative I say about the music score. Maybe not the best, not very memorable. That's one issue I can say. The music score is not too memorable. The songs are nice they throw in there, but the music score itself I didn't really find too memorable. But nowadays superhero movies they make it real loud and loud in your face. So they probably did take inspiration from Dark Knight a little bit, but not saying it's Dark Knight, but the music score was the Dark Knight trilogy. The irritating thing about me with that franchise is the music score is just loud and obnoxious, and you can hear sometimes the music score can be a little loud and not very memorable. Just do your own thing, you know. It's not saying the music score was good, but I didn't find it memorable. And some of the editing, the action scenes were the editing wasn't the best, but I can kind of let stuff. But so my rating for Shazam, the first Shazam movie, yeah. But despite that, still a fun movie, still entertaining movie that I recommend. So my rating for Shazam is 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. So definitely check this out. Still my favorite film of the DCU. So guys, what do you think of this movie in your opinion? What do you think of Shazam? Have you seen the spin-off film Black Adam starring Dwayne the Rock Johnson? What do you think of the movie that movie in your opinion? I've seen it. I liked it. And what did you think of the sequel that came out 2023, Shazam Fear of the Gods, if you've seen that? Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this film. What do you think of Zachary Levi as the character Shazam? And what do you think of this film as a whole in your opinion? What do you think of it? And how would you rank the DCU movies? And what are some of your favorite DC movies? I'm including Christopher Reeve Superman movies, some of the Green Lantern even. Any DC movie, live action or animated that we've gotten all these years. I'm starting with Superman the movie. Yeah. Just let me know in the comments down below. And let me once again my rating for Shazam is 4 to 5 stars and thumbs up lightning in my hands. Yeah, yeah. But that was good. All right. Next, well, this movie won't be next. I'm watching this movie on TV, and I've heard really bad things about this movie. No, not Shazam. It stars David Harper. It's a reboot that came out in 2019. I've never seen it, but that's 2019 superhero film based on the Dark Horse Comics character. Yeah, and is a reboot. It's the third live action entry in this franchise that does not star Ron Perlman as the character, and Guillermo del Toro does not direct. It's just directed by Neil Marshall. So the next review will be the 2019 reboot, remake, reboot, whatever the hell you want to call it. That is Hellboy. Yes, so this will be the next review. So guys, in the comments down below, please tell me what you think of Shazam in your opinion. And once again, the rating is 4 to 5 stars, and the thumbs up. You'll see the rating on the description box below as well. What I think of the movie. Tell me what you think about the movie, guys, in your opinion. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And bye bye. And Shazam!